Hi, hello, welcome to Devon Monk's Works and World. I have no idea what episode I'm on. I have been gone for something like 3 weeks and did I do 112 or 113 last time? I don't know. I'm up in the teens, 100 and teens. So I'm gonna say take a wild guess and say 114. We'll see if I'm right. So, anyways, welcome here to Monday Monk. It is really good to see you again. It's been a little while. It's nice of you to stop by and spend a little time with me. I'm going to mostly go over the regular stuff. Since it has been so long, I'll probably cover only some of the stuff that has been going on in Monk World. And next week, which hopefully I'll get to this again next week, that's the plan anyway, I will fill you in on more things that have happened in this interim. I haven't been gone for any bad reason. It's just been busy and I haven't been able to get to videos. So I'm back, baby. I'm back. Okay, so let's just dive right in. How are things going with writing, knitting, and life in general? And so let's see. We start with writing. Writing is going really well. Nursery Crimes is out. It is available in ebook at all the places where you would buy an ebook, and it doesn't have a lot of reviews yet. I don't think a lot of people have found it, or if they have, they haven't hit the little star reviews, or they haven't left a little comment yet. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if that changes. I am planning to get the print version of that same book, Nursery Crimes, out this week. So look for the print version at all of you should be able to order it in. It should be orderable for libraries and that kind of thing. But again, not until the end of this week, probably. I still have a little work to do on that. But yeah, if you want to read it in ebook form, it is out there. It is available. It is ready to go. And I am writing Wayward Devils. I'm in revision. And it's going okay. Not quite as quickly as I want, but I am making progress, and I'm sort of secretly determined to get the revision done by the end of the month. And I have no idea how I could possibly do that. But that's sort of my secret goal. Well, now you know it, but that's my secret goal, to get the revision done so I can get it off to copy edits right here at the beginning of August, and we'll see how that goes. So fingers crossed I can get that out here soon. So that's writing right now. I am also doing some world building on another book that I'm going to be writing, and I'm trying to decide if it's going to be a duology, which is 2 books, or if it's going to be a trilogy. And it's not urban fantasy, it's in a new genre. So I will talk more about that as I figure stuff out, but it's starting to come together, although I have a lot of subplots and characters to flesh out before I actually dive in. But that will be my next project that I'm diving into, probably in August, if I can get Wayward Devils up and rolling. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. And like I said, this is going to be longer because it's been a couple of weeks since I've been here. In other good writing news, I have rights back to the House of Mortal books, which is House of Mortal, Infinity Bell, and Crucible Zero. And those books will be being re-released in trade format with new covers coming up here real soon. I'm hoping to start that maybe into the year, beginning of next year. Those should be coming out soon. And they won't be changed as far as the text. I think I found a couple typos and a couple things I want to just clean up in them. But basically those books are going to remain how they are, but be available in cool new, with cool new covers updated because I don't know, they came out. Here's the first one. This is the original cover. So if you have one of these, it'll be, collector's version. These came out let's see when the first book came out. It was a while ago, 2014. So, that's a decade ago. So we've updated the covers with something new and fresh, and I will show you those soon. Okay. Oh, and if you want to see that stuff first before anybody else, I do that over on my Patreon. I always share there first because those people are sweet and kind enough to throw a couple bucks toward me to get kind of that early access. And so that will be showing up over there first for the new cover reveals. Okay. So that's writing. I guess I spent a lot of time on that. What is going on with knitting? Not knitting, still not knitting. The story of my 2024 right now. I have crocheted, and I crocheted my first toy. Like, I had crocheted a little toy, oh gosh, I don't know, 15 years ago, and I did it wrong because I didn't understand how you actually crocheted, but I made it turn out okay so that it turned out what it was supposed to look like. It was a little knight, and you use a wine cork as his body, and you do his little armor outfit around it. It's really cute. But I crocheted my first actual toy. I'll try to put it right up here. There it is. And that is a little tree that we took with us on a road trip. I gave it to my brother-in-law because he likes trees, and we were going out into the Southwest desert where there weren't trees. So I knit him one so he could carry it with him. And I'll talk more about that road trip in an upcoming Monday Monk. Okay, so let's see. That's writing, knitting, and what is going on in Monkland in general. Okay, so when I last talked to you, I was explaining the paranormal investigation we did at my sister and brother-in-law's house, and how we were just testing equipment so that we could be ready to go to where we were really going to do a real paranormal investigation at a landmark here in Oregon. We got some interesting reactions or replies or instances or events show up when we did the equipment testing at my sister and her husband's house. So that was very cool, and I explained it last Monday Monk. So this Monday Monk, I'm going to tell you where we went on our paranormal hunt. And we went down to Wolf Creek Inn, very famous place. It was an old stagecoach in where people go north-south from California up through Oregon, and that was a place where people would stop off for refreshments and lodging. Who is it that, Jack London used to stay there, and he wrote a short story and worked on his last novel while he was there. He would work on other things, but that's what it's famous for, is that he stayed there. They still have his room with this tiny little twin bed in it, and a chair, and this tiniest little dresser with like a drawer in it, and a wash basin, and that's all that fits in that room, because it is a narrow little room. And let's see what else about Wolf Creek Inn. Clark Gable used to stay there. It's rumored that John Wayne stayed there. Carol Lombard. So it's a place where people, well, writers and obviously actors, movie stars, and then regular people would go to kind of get away from it all. The fishing's good around there. It's very quiet. There's nothing else around you. I mean, there was a gas station across the street a ways that had kind of like a convenience store part of it, but that was it. There's nothing else. There aren't other houses to explore or neighborhoods or anything. And it's down close, so it's southern Oregon. We had a great time. My brother, Daryl, is the one who arranged this, and he is from Under the Oregon Moon. I will put a link to it so that you can click over on his channel, because he and my brother Darren do high strangeness, paranormal investigations, ghost hunting, all sorts of things. And they recap all of that and share it with us on their channel, so check out their channel. But he had talked to the person managing the inn and asked if we could basically book out the whole inn and do a paranormal hunt down there, because it is said that people have heard ghosts or seen ghosts and that kind of stuff. And so that was one. And then the next thing that he also did is he talked to the person who looks after this very small town. It used to be a town. It's really a ghost town now, just about 3 miles away from the inn. It has, I think, 3 standing structures. You can only get into 2 of them, and the rest of the ghost town is, just little foundation blocks here and there, but it isn't a town anymore. But it's the town of Golden. It used to be called Golden. And the schoolhouse, the one-room schoolhouse, and the church are still standing, and you can go into them. And it's preserved kind of as a historic site now. But my brother wanted to do a paranormal investigation out there, and we were all on for it. And he talked to the groundskeeper, and the groundskeeper said as long as we followed certain rules, he would allow us to do a investigation in that ghost town at night. So we get down there, and the inn is wonderful. It was hot, but the inn was very air conditioned. We had pretty much the run of the place. There was only one room that we didn't book out due to cancellations and things that happened. So we did have people who weren't a part of the kind of investigation crew come in for a night and leave, and then come in for a night and leave, two different sets of people. But we were careful to be quiet at quiet times at night so that we didn't disturb them. And we were able to do quite a lot of just kind of running through the whole inn, because we all had the rooms, so we could go into all of the different rooms. And we went into the upstairs. I don't know what it was. It used to be a ballroom, but now it's kind of an open community space where you can go up there, and they have puzzles and they have games and little refreshments up there like coffee you can get into, and a little refrigerator. And up on that level, there's a above the porch balcony or like it's your porch below, but you're up above on it. And it has a railing around it. And there are rocking chairs out there. So, we could spend the morning with coffee and rocking chairs. It was lovely. It's a lovely place to relax. The restaurant is attached to it, and the people who run the restaurant are the ones that are looking after it. And they were great. We had just a wonderful time. The food was great. And so, yeah, so we got to do some investigations in the inn to see if we could catch anything or experience anything. And I'm probably going to fill in better on that in the future because Daryl and his wife Chrissy are working on listening through all of the recordings that we got to see if there's anything unusual that they heard, and if anything that happened that we experienced actually was caught on digital recording of some sort. So they put me and my husband in a room where apparently there's a ghost that likes to touch people's feet at night, and I was not on for that. It was like hot in our room, and we didn't have our air conditioning on as well as we could have. And so I was thinking in the middle of the night, I'm like super hot, and I'm like, I need to stick my feet out because I'm so hot. And I'm like, no, there's a ghost out there. I'm not gonna stick my feet out. So I had my feet under my covers the whole time. I never experienced anything. There was no touching. There was no ghost touching my feet. So I guess that would have been an interesting experience, but that did not happen, and I was okay with that. But we did have some other experiences there and my brother will tell you more about on his channel. I think he's going to give a more thorough explanation, so I'm going to link to that. I was there for for some of our lights behaving in ways that weren't normal, and I didn't have a personal experience of hearing something or seeing something that didn't seem explainable, but other people had different experiences, and that was very exciting. Now, we also went over, like I said, to Golden, to the ghost town of Golden, and did a little investigation out there at night, and that was, for me, really quite a lot more interesting. I did have an experience of hearing voices, and we're in the middle of the night. I think it was dark, so I think it was 9 or 9:30 or 10 o'clock, and we had split into two groups, and there's nobody out there in that place. There is a road that goes by it, and you can hear cars go by, but there's very few people who live out there, so there weren't cars really going by. And we didn't have cell service. So no phones were, we had our phones in airplane mode, but you couldn't get cell service out there anyway. There's no connectivity. Yeah, we're out in the middle of the nowhere with no cell connectivity. looking for spooky stuff. So we did that, and we split into two groups because that's what you should do to survive in the dark. But we did so that we could have a group in the church and a group in the schoolhouse, and then switch to a group in the church and a group in the schoolhouse. And I thought I heard our other group coming toward the schoolhouse because I heard muffled voices and they were kind of talking amongst themselves. And I'm like, oh shoot, our other group is loud enough that we're hearing them here in the church. And then I realized they're like a block and a half away. They're like, there's distance between those buildings, and you couldn't hear each other out there. So unless somebody was standing, like walking around the church, we wouldn't be able to hear anybody. And I wasn't the only one who heard those voices. There was two other people there in the church who heard them too. But that was my experience. I heard those voices. One of the people, my brother-in-law, was so convinced that it was probably somebody messing around the church, and we were there at night, and we were kind of trying to make sure that the church wasn't bothered at night because the groundskeeper wanted us to just make sure nobody bothered the buildings and then lock up when we left. And so he went outside to make sure that nobody was going to bother the buildings. And isn't that how horror movies start? I think that's how horror movies start. You go outside to tell people to stop doing whatever they're doing, and then you get eaten by the monsters. Okay, so he went outside, and there was nobody out there. So when we were hearing voices, and three of us heard them all at the same time, and it wasn't just a moment, it was like people were talking. He went out to look, and there was nobody outside talking. So that was weird. And we did have digital audio recordings running. So I'm hoping that those showed up on the audio, and I don't know if they did or not. But that was my personal experience out there. I personally experienced that. I heard voices that were not supposed to be there, and they were pretty clear to me. I could hear women's voices and men's voices kind of mixed in together, and it was... so that was an experience. And we had other experiences with our lights that we had set up. But again, I think I only experienced some of those, so I think I will let my brother explain all of that on his channel. So tune in Under the Oregon Moon. I'm sure he will recap all that and you'll get more of the nitty gritty on it. So what I can say is this is my first actual paranormal investigation, going out and see if there's anything that you can't explain away that happens. And I definitely saw what happened with our lights when we were asking questions and lights would do certain things. That was unexplainable to me. I absolutely heard those voices, like I did. So did two other people. So I don't feel like it was just me, like hearing I don't know, the wind wrong or something. There was no wind blowing, but you know what I mean. I wasn't the only one. There was confirmation that other people also heard those voices. And I think the other thing that I found fascinating was it was a really good group of people. I got to meet some new people, and it was really fun to see different people, how they approach trying to reach out to whatever energy or phenomenon are there. And so it was interesting to watch other people interact and explore this kind of phenomenon. And I am really glad that I've done it. Again, like I said last time, I see why people enjoy doing this. It's a mystery. It's fun. Um, Nothing ill is coming of it. We go into it with no, you know, malice in our hearts. We're just there to witness and to observe. We're not there to, do anything with any malice. And I think that's a really good state of mind to be in, that you're an observer and this is our world and we're observing the world. And yeah, so totally fun. If anybody ever asks you to go on one of these things, I'd say it's worth it. You have to, for me, you have to, you can be skeptical. That's absolutely fine. You can absolutely not believe in it at all. And that's fine too. You just want to be present, which is not really open-minded is great. Like, let's see what happens. I'm open-minded to see what happens. Or even if you're just like, I will be here and I will experience whatever happens while I'm here, being present. I think that works too. And yeah, I think we had a really good time. It was wonderful hanging out with everybody. Wolf Creek Inn is fabulous. Go there if you're ever going through that part of Oregon. Stop in. You don't have to stay in the inn to go up and look at the Jack London's room and to look at the history of the place that they have collected together a lot of items from the area, and just to appreciate that old inn, which was built in I want to say 80 something. I should have written that down before I started this and I didn't. But anyways, it was a stagecoach stop for a little bit before that too, or right across the street. It was a or right in that area. That's where they'd stop. But then they built this for everybody to stay over and stuff. So yeah, it's a neat piece of history. It is very well maintained. It's wonderful in the summer. They would love to have you any time of year. I bet it would be gorgeous in the snow. Definitely go to Wolf Creek Inn if you get a chance. Wolf Creek Tavern and Inn, I guess it's called. And yeah, I guess that's what I'm going to update on this time. This is a long enough Monday Monk. So until next time, you all be well out there, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.